so many potatoes in my life and I love it. My name is Nicole. I have a YouTube channel called Miss Vran Halen. I'm from Florida, but now I live in California. Because it's awesome. No, I went vegan kind of accidentally. I didn't set out to be a vegan and there wasn't like one big thing. It actually started because I was living in Brooklyn for a while and I was cooking for myself, and just out of laziness, I really wasn't cooking like proper meals. So I wasn't eating very much meat at the time. And last summer I was in Florida visiting family, and I started to notice how much meat they actually eat. And I grew up eating that way, but it had been a long time. So, you know, they were eating eggs for breakfast, you know, a tuna salad for lunch, chicken for dinner, and that was normal. And back then I wasn't saying like, oh, those are a lot of animal products. I was just thinking, oh, that's a lot of protein. And I felt like it was kind of making me feel really heavy. And I just thought, well, maybe I don't need to be eating that much protein every day. So slowly I started eating just more plant-based foods naturally, not to do it for any other reason other than I just didn't feel right when I ate a lot of protein. And then I started losing a bunch of weight and I started having more energy, and I was like, wait, I think there's something to this. So I started learning more about plant-based diet, but I didn't want to call myself a vegan or a vegetarian because I felt like that was too intense. So I learned about it probably over the course of several months, and during that time I was just incorporating more plant-based whole foods into my diet, and I just kept losing weight, which was great because I felt really, really good. And as I was learning about all the nutrition, I then started to learn about the animals and the environment. And for me, it was just kind of like, I can eat a certain way that makes me feel really good. I feel better than I ever have. I feel like it's easy to maintain my weight, which is something I've struggled with so much. So I had all these benefits that were for myself, and then on top of it, it was not harming animals and it wasn't harming the environment. It just felt like a win-win-win situation. So it was at that point that I started really plugging in and realizing, I felt like I was so disconnected before, and all of a sudden I just felt like, wait, this makes so much sense. Why aren't more people eating this way? Like, you can feel so good, and there's no reason for us to be obese or to be stressing about our weight. I personally had a severe eating disorder when I was younger, and even though I have been managing it for a long time, it's something that you still have triggers, and there's still times where you have to manage it more than others. And you know, when you are on a plant-based diet, it's not necessarily like you never have to think about it, but it's easy to maintain your weight and to feel really good. And that's been something that, just like the mental clarity and peace that I have with my body, I feel so much more connected, and it's just the best thing ever. So then I decided, okay, I can say I'm vegan. Like, I have no intentions of changing this. It's just too good, and I'm too happy, and I don't want to ever hurt another animal. There's no need to, you know? There's so many options that you can have, and people say, oh, I feel bad for you, you can't have this, or I wish you could try this, and I just always think, like, you know, don't feel bad for me, because I'm not suffering. If anything, I'm much happier than I've ever been, and I can have everything. I have pizza, I just had a bunch of macaroni and cheese, like, there's donuts, there's no deprivation. It's not extreme. It's just about finding how to make it work for you. And you know, maybe you have to be a little creative in the beginning, but it's kind of like it's almost like a hobby, you know? It's kind of a fun thing. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. I think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Something that I heard from Deliciously Ella was to focus on what you can have and not what you can't have. And especially with someone who has a past eating disorder, you can really start to focus on the negative things and the control aspect, and making sure that you avoid all of the bad foods. And so for me, focusing on the abundance of food that I could have, the quantities of food, of plant foods that I was now able to eat without feeling guilty, that was just the main way that I stayed vegan. And it was like what I get excited about. I wasn't thinking, oh, I can't have cheese. I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have avocado, I'm gonna have tahini, I'm gonna have brown rice, I'm gonna have all of these things, potatoes. I've never eaten so many potatoes in my life and I love it. And it translates to every other part of your life too. It starts with your diet, you're focusing on the good, and it really does. You start to focus on the good in every area of your life. It applies to everything. So I would say focus on what you can have. So I have a YouTube channel called Miss Vran Halen, and I also have a blog called MissVranHalen.com. And ever since I went vegan, I started doing Foodie Friday videos that are all vegan. So if you guys need help with figuring out fun new recipes that are easy and quick to do, they don't have a bazillion different ingredients and they're not that complicated, definitely check out my videos. I do them every single Friday. And I also have Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It's all Miss Vran Halen. So check me out. Thank you. Bye.